Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you don't know me, my name is Rohan, and I'm currently a semester 2 student here at Ross University School of Medicine, which is located in the beautiful Caribbean island of Barbados. I just want to say before I begin, thank you guys so much, so much for the support of the first video that I posted. And honestly, the rest of the videos I posted on this channel. It meant a lot to me. I did put a lot of time and effort into that video, and I did not expect it to pop off and get so much love as it did. I really appreciate it. I think it's at around 800 views, which for someone who's at millions of subscribers, thousands of subscribers, maybe that's not that much. But for me, it's my first video. That was amazing, guys. That was amazing. I can only thank you guys for it. I really appreciate it. But don't want to get too far into that. I'm going to continue with the video now. In natural fashion, I had to make another video because, I like making them, you guys like watching them. It's gotta be done, right? It was in my heart, I had to do it. So, I'm just gonna talk about, instead of being focused on like a weekend of mine, or being focused on maybe a specific time period where something was being done, I'm gonna more so talk about just life in general in Barbados, and life in general, just how things go, because honestly, my life isn't that exciting at this point. I do a lot of things. I do go out, I do talk to a lot of people, I do go to class, I do a lot of studying, I have fun. But I think it just get really repetitive if I showed you guys over and over again that I studied today, I worked out today, I went to the store today, I walked today, you know what I mean? I think it just gets boring. But thankfully, there were some interesting things that happened this week that I would love to share with you guys if you would like to watch it too. So, just jump straight into it. One of the first things that I want to talk about is the Latina Medical Student Association Club here at Ross University hosted their very own Spanish workshop. It was essentially where they taught you a bunch of medical terms and medical jargon in Spanish. They did teach you in Spanish, but they taught you the Spanish equivalent words for it. Like, the simple ones I can remember off the top of my head, like diabetes is diabetes, or cirrhosis is cirrhosis. You know what I mean? It's very simple words like that. But there were a lot of words. I have a lot of pictures. I might put them up here. But there were a lot of words that they mentioned that I was like, ooh, this is very useful, I could definitely use this in my life. I could definitely use this when I'm on clinical rotations if I go to Miami, or if I go to somewhere that has Spanish-speaking people, because, knowing a little bit of Spanish is always good. I've actually been studying Spanish. Well, I've been studying Spanish for a long time, but I only really got serious about it again recently, about a year and some change ago. I started doing Duolingo Spanish, and as of maybe 10-15 days ago, I'm on about a 400-day streak, which again is nothing too crazy because a lot of people have made it to 1,000, 2,000. But for me, 400 days, that meant a lot to me, I thought it was super, I was super excited about that. I was happy. Once I hit 100 days, I was like, dang, let's go. Let's go, I did it. I hit 200, I hit 300, and now I'm at about 400, and it's just amazing how life progresses as long as you put in the effort, But I'm gonna show some clips of this workshop. We had a couple exercises where after they went through their whole presentation, they had a physician and patient kind of script going on. And what it was essentially where people got to practice being the physician or the patient, and they got to read out the Spanish sentences, and then the other person would respond in Spanish. And it was a really good way to just practice your Spanish while also keeping things, keeping things lighthearted, fun, but also professional, because we're in medical school. These are medical school things, So it's a really good experience. Some of the words I learned, or some of the things that I learned from that workshop were, well, first of all, I didn't know, this is a super important word to know. The word pain in Spanish is dolor. Dolor. I did not know that this was that was the word for pain in Spanish. That's a very important word to know in general. And so I'm going to make sure I keep that in the back of my mind. Another word I learned was saludable, which means healthy. And when I first heard this word, I immediately thought of, you're at a quinceañera, you're at a Hispanic party, and they all cheers. They hold up their glasses, they cheers together, and you know what they say? Salud. That's what they say, and that's immediately what I thought of. And I mean, yeah, that's kind of, it's amazing, It's amazing how languages work, honestly, because that word probably comes from saludable, or maybe the other way around, and it's kind of how the language moves. It was really nice to make that connection, and those are kind of the aha moments when you learn languages or learn things. The aha moments are what makes it fun, right? And finally, this is a little bit more on a sad note, but morir means to die. The way I learned this was in the little script area, we had a part of the script where the patient at the end was like, "Doctor, am I gonna die?" And then he said, "Morir as to die." And the doctor said, "No, it's very treatable. Don't worry, it's a treatable thing, but we have to act fast." And that's a very necessary word to know as a medical personnel in Spanish. It's a very important word to know. After I came back, I recorded myself doing some cooking. I was making just some simple tilapia fillets. I just put a little bit of oil in the pan, just 2 huge tilapia fillets, and they're pretty cheap here. It's a really good source of protein, not that many calories, and it's like 90 grams of protein for both those huge fillets that you're seeing right now. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. It's a great way to get your protein in. After I ate that, man, I kind of just, I was just relaxing. I went to sleep pretty early, and then I just been chilling. I'm just gonna talk about the whole week in general. It was a busy week for sure. We had a lot of papers this week, honestly. We had one research paper we had to write. It wasn't a full research paper, but it was more so of a research question that we had to elaborate on. Mine was, does social media usage affect or increase blood pressure? It's a one-tailed hypothesis. Increase blood pressure in teens and adults age 18 to 25 over 2 weeks. So ideally, what we would do is we would have one patient group who doesn't use social media, and one patient group. Ideally, it would be 2 groups that don't use social media, and then one of the groups would start using it for 2 weeks, and the other one would stay not using it. That would be ideally the process. But it's very hard to find people these days who don't use social media, so I don't know if that's completely possible. But you have to answer a bunch of questions about it. At the end, answer a bunch of questions like, what's the population, what's the intervention, what's the comparison group, the outcome, the timing, the PICO, if you don't know, PICOT. There's like a set of questionnaire you gotta answer for yourself. We also learned a lot of really interesting things. We learned stuff about like allergic reactions, hypersensitivity reactions. In my family, there are a couple people with allergies, and it was really interesting for me to learn about how to actually deal with that, or how it worked in reality. Because I knew that if someone's allergic to nuts, they eat nuts. They get anaphylactic shock. They could get anaphylactic shock. That's one of the reactions, and their throat could close up, and they could die. Like that's just that could happen. It happens all the time. So it's really interesting to learn about that. We also learned about transplant rejection, which is essentially the idea that if you can't just give someone's kidney to somebody else, you can't just do that just like that without testing or without making sure they align, because the antigens, the markers on the cells could be different. First of all, blood type. You can't give someone with a B positive blood. You can't give their heart to someone with A negative, because that person will form B positive antibodies against that kidney, because they don't match. They're not a perfect donor recipient match. So that's not gonna work. You can't do that. And we also talked a lot about cancer and mutations that lead to cancer, like dysplasia, neoplasia, even stuff like metaplasia. It's all really interesting stuff. This section of the semester, I think, has been really interesting so far. This semester, by the way, is called HOII, HOII. It stands for hematology, which is blood. oncology, which is cancer, and then infection and immunity, which is like, you know, immunology, like this stuff I was just telling you about, hypersensitivity reactions, transplant rejection, stuff like that. It's super interesting stuff, honestly, at least for me. For me, it was super, super interesting. One thing I wanna mention, we talked about this thing called aflatoxin B, which is essentially, it looks like a mold that grows on corn, or maybe it can grow on other vegetables, but what we learned was that it grows on corn. And aflatoxin B actually causes hepatocellular cancer, which means liver. Hepatocytes are liver cells. It can cause liver cancer, which is super interesting to learn about, because you hear about all these things like I don't know, when I was a kid you heard like, oh, that causes cancer, that causes cancer, that causes cancer. You know what I mean? Like all this like random stuff causes cancer. You don't know exactly. That person who's saying that to you might not even like understand it himself or herself. They're just saying that. But here we're actually learning these specific carcinogens that cause cancer. That are the carcinogens that cause cancer. That's what we're learning. And aflatoxin B is one of them. Super interesting stuff. But I mean, honestly, that's kind of all I got for you guys. This might have been a little shorter of a video. I don't know how the editing will go. But I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed. You know, it's fun making these videos. I mean, other than anything else I've said today, I hope you guys, like I said, I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope you found it fun to watch. I hope if you're eating right now, I hope it made your meal better. I mean, either way, man, like I said earlier, I really, really appreciate you guys for all the support you've given me, the help that you've given me, everything. Honestly, I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be here making this second video so soon, literally a week later, if you guys didn't blow up that first video. So if you want to see more videos like this, definitely like, definitely subscribe, definitely comment, tell your friends if you think it was a good video. Other than that, man, I mean, I don't have much else to say. Like I said, I greatly appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good day, good night, whatever time it is you guys are watching. Thank you. I'll catch you guys next time.